He mocked the quiet girl in class, then uncovered the astonishing truth about her. But when she finally speaks, at Sunnybrook Elementary, there was a boy named Max who liked to make jokes. He was always the loudest in class and thought it was funny to poke fun at other kids. One day, Max noticed a quiet girl named Emma sitting alone at her desk, drawing pictures in her sketchbook. Emma never said much, and she always seemed lost in her own world. "Hey Emma, what are you drawing? A picture of your invisible friends?" Max teased, laughing with his friends. Emma's face turned red, but she kept her head down and didn't respond. Max's friends snickered, enjoying the show. Emma wasn't the only one Max picked on, but she was the most mysterious. Her quietness made her an easy target. Days went by, and Max's teasing continued. Emma never argued back, which made Max think she was scared of him. But then something unusual happened. One afternoon, Max stayed late after school to work on a project in the art room. He had to pick up some supplies and heard a soft sound coming from the back corner. He turned around and saw Emma sitting at a large canvas, painting with quick, skillful strokes. Max was stunned. Emma's paintings were amazing, bright colors and beautiful designs that seemed to come to life. He watched in awe as she worked. "What are you doing?" Max finally asked, his curiosity getting the best of him. Emma looked up, her eyes wide with surprise. She hesitated for a moment, then said quietly, "I'm painting a mural for the school's art contest." Max was amazed. "You're really good at this. Why didn't you ever tell anyone?" Emma shrugged. "I just like to keep things to myself." Max felt a pang of guilt. He had never imagined that the quiet girl was such a talented artist. Over the next few days, Max decided to make a change. He started helping Emma with her mural, offering to bring supplies and even getting his friends involved. They painted together after school, and Max discovered that Emma was not just a talented artist, but also kind and funny. One day, as they were working on the final touches of the mural, Max asked, "Emma, why didn't you ever say anything about your art?" Emma smiled softly. "I didn't want people to notice me. I just wanted to do what I loved in my own way." Max nodded, understanding more than ever. Emma's art was more than just pictures on a wall. It was a window into her world. As the mural neared completion, the whole school gathered to see it. The colors and details were so striking that everyone was speechless. Max's friends were amazed, and even the teachers were impressed. Just before the school principal announced the winners of the art contest, Emma turned to Max. "Thank you for helping me," she said. "I couldn't have done it without you." Max smiled and replied, "Thank you for showing me who you really are. I'm sorry for teasing you before." Emma nodded, and the two of them watched as the principal started to speak. Everyone was eager to hear who won the contest, but Max and Emma knew they had already won something much more important: a new friendship. As the principal opened the envelope, Emma leaned over to Max and whispered, "I think this might be the start of something amazing." Max grinned and whispered back, "I think you're right." But what happened next was something Max could never have expected. The principal cleared his throat and began to speak. "Thank you all for your hard work and creativity in this year's art contest. We had so many amazing entries, but there can only be one winner." The room buzzed with excitement and anticipation. Emma squeezed Max's hand for support. Max could see how nervous she was, but he knew she had already won in his eyes. "The winner of this year's art contest," the principal continued, "is Emma Collins." The room erupted in cheers and applause. Emma's eyes widened in surprise, and Max felt a rush of pride for his friend. Emma walked up to the stage, her cheeks flushed with happiness as she accepted a shiny trophy and a certificate. Max watched from the crowd, feeling a mix of joy and wonder. He had never realized how much talent Emma had hidden beneath her quiet exterior. When she returned to her seat, the other kids gathered around her, eager to congratulate her and see her artwork up close. Emma smiled shyly, but seemed more relaxed now that she was being celebrated. Max's friends, who had once laughed at Emma, now wanted to know more about her art. They asked her questions and complimented her paintings. Emma's quiet confidence grew with each kind word. As the crowd slowly dispersed, Max and Emma stayed behind to clean up the art supplies. Max couldn't help but notice how many people were still talking about Emma's work. "I didn't know you were such a big deal," Max said with a grin. "Your paintings are amazing." Emma laughed softly. "Thanks, Max. I never thought of myself as a big deal. I just love painting." They continued to chat as they tidied up the room. Max was fascinated by Emma's stories about how she created her art. She talked about how she imagined different worlds and characters and brought them to life on canvas. So Max asked, "Do you have any more projects you're working on?" Emma nodded. "I'm actually working on a series of paintings about animals and their adventures. I want to show how they experience the world." "That sounds incredible," Max said. "Can I help?" Emma looked at him, surprised. "Really? You want to?" "Absolutely," Max replied. "I'd love to learn more about art and help you with your next project." Emma's eyes sparkled with excitement. "That would be awesome. I'd love to have your help." The two of them made plans to meet up over the weekend to start working on Emma's new series. Max felt a sense of excitement and purpose that he hadn't felt before. Helping Emma with her art was more than just a way to pass the time. It was a chance to be part of something special. As they walked out of the school together, Max thought about how much he had learned from Emma. She had shown him that sometimes the quietest people have the most amazing stories to tell, and Emma had discovered that she didn't have to hide her talents or her dreams. Just as they were about to part ways, Max's best friend, Jake, ran up to them. "Hey, Max." "Hey, Emma, I heard you're working on a new project. Can I join in too?" Emma smiled, her eyes lighting up. "Sure, the more, the merrier." Max was thrilled. "This is going to be so much fun. We'll make something amazing together." Emma nodded, and the three of them made plans to meet over the weekend. Max felt a new sense of excitement about the future, and he was eager to see where this new friendship and their creative project would take them. But as they parted ways, Max couldn't shake the feeling that there was something even more extraordinary about to happen. The weekend arrived, and Max, Jake, and Emma gathered at Emma's house. Her room was filled with art supplies, sketches, and vibrant paintings covering the walls. Max and Jake were amazed by the explosion of color and creativity. "Wow, Emma, your room is like an art gallery," Jake exclaimed, his eyes wide with wonder. Emma blushed but smiled proudly. "Thanks, Jake. I love painting here. It's my happy place." They settled around a large table covered with blank canvases, brushes, and paint tubes. Emma showed them her initial sketches for the Animal Adventure series. Each picture was full of lively animals exploring enchanted forests, sparkling rivers, and towering mountains. "These are awesome," Max said. "Let's start painting." As they worked, Max and Jake learned more about Emma's process. She showed them how to mix colors, create textures, and bring their ideas to life on the canvas. Max, who had never been much of an artist, found himself enjoying the experience. Jake, always the joker, added funny details to the animals, making everyone laugh. "Look at this," Jake said, holding up his painting of a squirrel with a superhero cape. "Super Squirrel to the rescue." Emma giggled. "I love it. We should definitely include Super Squirrel in the series." They spent hours painting and laughing, each contributing their unique ideas and styles. As the sun began to set, Emma's mom called them downstairs for a snack. They munched on cookies and sipped lemonade, chatting about their favorite animals and adventure stories. "You know," Emma said thoughtfully, "I used to be afraid that people wouldn't like my art. But now, I see how much fun it is to share it with friends." Max nodded. "I'm glad you did, Emma. Your art is amazing, and it's even better because we get to do it together." Jake raised his glass of lemonade. To friendship and art. They clinked their glasses together, feeling a warm sense of camaraderie. But their creative journey was far from over. As they returned to the art room, Emma had an idea. "Why don't we make our own storybook?" she suggested. "We can write a story about the animals and their adventures, and illustrate it with our paintings." Max and Jake's eyes lit up. "That's a great idea." Max said, "We can create our own characters and everything." Jake grinned, "And Super Squirrel can be the hero." They spent the rest of the evening brainstorming and sketching out their story. Max came up with thrilling plot twists, Jake added humor and excitement, and Emma wove it all together with her beautiful illustrations. By the time they finished for the night, they had the outline of an incredible adventure. As they packed up their supplies, Emma looked at her friends with gratitude. "Thanks for helping me with this. I never thought I could do something like this before." Max smiled. "We couldn't have done it without you, Emma. You're the heart of this project." Jake nodded. "Yeah, you're like the captain of our creative ship." They laughed and made plans to meet again the next day to continue their work. As Max and Jake walked home, Max couldn't help but feel that their story was just beginning. They were creating something special, not just on paper, but in their lives. The next day, they gathered again, and the storybook began to take shape. They worked tirelessly, each bringing their unique talents to the project. Word spread around school about their storybook, and soon other kids wanted to join in and help. It became a community project, with everyone contributing ideas, drawings, and stories. As the pages of the storybook filled up, so did the sense of friendship and creativity among the kids. They discovered talents they never knew they had, and formed bonds that grew stronger with each passing day. One afternoon, as they were putting the final touches on the book, Emma looked around at her friends. "You know, I used to be so afraid of speaking up and sharing my art. But now, I feel like I can do anything with you guys by my side." Max put his arm around Emma's shoulders. "And we're with you all the way, Emma." Jake nodded, a big smile on his face. "To the best team ever." They finished the storybook and decided to present it at the school assembly. As they stood on the stage, looking out at their classmates, Emma took a deep breath. She felt a surge of confidence and pride. This was her moment. Max handed her the microphone. "Go ahead, Emma. Tell them our story." Emma smiled, her voice steady and clear. Once upon a time, there was a group of friends who discovered the magic of creativity and the power of friendship. The audience at the school assembly listened attentively as Emma told the story of their animal adventures. She described the enchanted forests, the brave super squirrel, and the thrilling escapades that filled the pages of their book. Her voice grew stronger with each word, and Max and Jake stood beside her, beaming with pride. When Emma finished, the assembly hall erupted in applause. Their classmates cheered, and even the teachers clapped enthusiastically. The principal stepped forward, a smile on his face. "Thank you, Emma, Max, Jake, and everyone who contributed to this wonderful project," he said. "Your storybook is a testament to the creativity and teamwork that makes our school special." Emma blushed, but she was glowing with happiness. The principal continued, "I'm delighted to announce that we will be making copies of your storybook to keep in the school library and share with other schools in our district." The announcement was met with even more applause. Max and Jake high-fived, and Emma couldn't stop smiling. It was a dream come true. After the assembly, the trio was surrounded by their classmates, who were eager to talk about the storybook and congratulate them. Even some of the kids who had laughed at Emma before now looked at her with admiration. "You guys did an amazing job," said Lily, one of the popular girls in class. "Can I help with your next project?" Emma's eyes lit up. "Of course. We'd love to have you join us." As the days passed, their storybook became a sensation at Sunnybrook Elementary. The school library had a special display, and students lined up to read about Super Squirrel and the other animals. Emma, Max, and Jake were thrilled by the positive response and started planning their next story. One afternoon, while they were brainstorming in Emma's room, Max had an idea. "What if we make a series of books? Each one could focus on a different character from the animal world." Emma and Jake loved the idea. They started outlining new stories and creating sketches for the next book. Their group of friends who helped with the first book continued to grow, and soon they had a whole team of young writers and artists working together. One day, while they were deep in their creative work, Emma's mom called her downstairs. "Emma, there's someone here to see you." Emma went downstairs and found a woman standing at the door with a friendly smile. She introduced herself as Mrs. Turner, a representative from a local publishing company. "I heard about your amazing storybook from your principal," Mrs. Turner said. "I'd love to talk to you and your friends about publishing your work, and maybe even creating a series." Emma's heart skipped a beat. She quickly called Max and Jake, who rushed over in excitement. They sat down with Mrs. Turner and talked about their ideas, showing her their sketches and story outlines. Mrs. Turner was impressed. "You all have a lot of talent and a great sense of storytelling. I think we can work together to bring your books to a wider audience." The friends could hardly believe their ears. It felt like a dream. They discussed the details with Mrs. Turner and made plans to start the publishing process. The idea of seeing their work in bookstores and libraries was exhilarating. As the days turned into weeks, they worked harder than ever. They wrote, illustrated, and refined their stories, pouring their hearts into every page. The school supported them, providing resources and time to work on their books. One afternoon, as they were putting the finishing touches on their second book, Emma looked at her friends with a smile. "Can you believe how far we've come? From a simple art project to this?" Max grinned. It's all because you believed in yourself and shared your talent with us, Emma. Jake nodded. Yeah, and because we worked together as a team. Who knows what we can achieve next? As they continued to work on their stories, they knew that this was just the beginning of their creative journey. The future was bright, filled with endless possibilities, and they were ready to embrace it together. Months passed, and the first book in their series, Super Squirrel's Great Adventure, was finally published. The whole school celebrated the launch, and a special assembly was held where Emma, Max, Jake, and their friends presented their book to the students and teachers. The principal proudly announced that the storybook was now available in local bookstores and libraries. Emma, Max, and Jake couldn't believe their eyes when they saw their book on the shelves. It was a dream come true. People from all over town came to the bookstore for the launch event, and the trio signed copies of their book for excited readers. As they were signing books, a little girl with wide eyes approached them, clutching a copy of Super Squirrel's Great Adventure. She looked up at Emma and whispered, "I love your book. It's the best story I've ever read." Emma's heart swelled with pride. "Thank you so much. I'm so happy you like it. Do you have a favorite part?" The girl nodded eagerly. "I love when Super Squirrel saves the day and makes friends with all the other animals. It made me feel like I could be a hero too." Emma smiled warmly. "You can be a hero. Just believe in yourself and be kind to others." After the book launch, their story gained even more popularity. The local newspaper wrote an article about the young authors, and soon, they were receiving letters from children all over the country who loved their book. Schools invited them to give talks and workshops, where they shared their creative process and encouraged other kids to follow their dreams. One day, Emma received a letter from a famous author, Mrs. Charlotte Green, who had written many beloved children's books. Mrs. Green invited Emma, Max, and Jake to visit her at her countryside home for a weekend writing and art retreat. They were overjoyed and couldn't wait to learn from such an experienced writer. When they arrived at Mrs. Green's house, they were amazed by the beautiful garden and cozy library filled with books. Mrs. Green welcomed them warmly and spent the weekend teaching them about storytelling, character development, and the importance of imagination. They also explored the countryside, drawing inspiration from nature and the animals they encountered. During one of their walks, Mrs. Green shared a valuable lesson. Remember, the most important thing about storytelling is to stay true to yourself. Your unique voice and experiences are what make your stories special. The friends took her words to heart and returned home with renewed enthusiasm and inspiration. They dove into their next project with even more passion, creating stories that reflected their own adventures and dreams. Their second book, Super Squirrel and the Enchanted Forest, was an even bigger success, and their fan base continued to grow. As their popularity soared, they received an invitation to appear on a popular children's TV show. The thought of being on TV made them nervous, but they were also excited to share their story with an even larger audience. On the day of the show, they arrived at the studio, wide-eyed and a bit jittery. The host, Mr. Thompson, greeted them warmly. "Welcome, young authors. We're so excited to have you here today. Can you tell our viewers how you started your journey?" Emma took a deep breath and smiled. It all started with a simple art project at school. We discovered how much we loved creating stories together and realized that when we combined our talents, we could do amazing things. Max added, "We learned that teamwork and believing in each other's abilities are the keys to our success." Jake nodded, and that having fun and staying true to ourselves makes our stories special. The audience clapped, and the friends felt the wave of confidence wash over them. They shared some of their favorite moments from their books, talked about their creative process, and even gave a live drawing demonstration. The show ended with a standing ovation, and they left the studio feeling like stars. On the way home, Emma looked at Max and Jake, her eyes sparkling. "Can you believe we were on TV? This is more than I ever dreamed of." Max grinned. "I know, right? And it's all because we took that first step and believed in ourselves." Jake nodded. "Yeah, and because we've got the best team ever." As they continued their journey, they knew that there were many more stories to tell and adventures to embark on. With their friendship and creativity guiding them, the possibilities were endless. The excitement from their TV appearance carried on, and Emma, Max, and Jake were buzzing with ideas for their next story. They decided to take a break from the Super Squirrel series and create a new adventure. This time, focusing on a magical underwater world. They gathered at Emma's house, transforming her room into an undersea paradise with blue streamers, paperfish, and seashells they had collected. They called their new story Ocean Quest, the secret of the Coral Kingdom. Their characters were vibrant sea creatures, each with their own special abilities and personalities. As they brainstormed, Jake came up with the idea of a wise old turtle named Tully who guided the young heroes. Max suggested a daring dolphin named Dash who loved to explore, while Emma designed a beautiful and kind-hearted mermaid named Marina. One afternoon, while they were deep in their creative process, Emma's mom brought them some snacks. "You kids have been working so hard," she said, smiling. "I'm so proud of all you've accomplished." Emma looked up, her eyes shining. "Thanks, Mom. We're having so much fun with this new story." Emma's mom glanced at the colorful sketches spread out across the table. "It looks amazing. I can't wait to read it." As they continued to develop their story, they realized they needed more information about marine life to make their underwater world feel real. Emma suggested they visit the local aquarium for inspiration. They agreed it was a great idea and planned a trip for the weekend. The aquarium visit was a revelation. They marveled at the vibrant fish, graceful rays, and majestic sea turtles. They took notes and made sketches, their imaginations running wild with new ideas. The highlight of the trip was a special behind-the-scenes tour, where they learned about marine conservation efforts and the importance of protecting ocean habitats. Back at Emma's house, they incorporated what they had learned into their story. The Coral Kingdom became a place not only of beauty and magic, but also a sanctuary where the characters worked together to protect their home from pollution and harm. One evening, as they were putting the finishing touches on the first draft, Max looked up thoughtfully. "You know, we could use our book to raise awareness about ocean conservation. Maybe we can donate some of the proceeds to a marine charity." Emma and Jake loved the idea. "That's a great way to make a difference," Emma said. "We can include a message at the end of the book about how readers can help protect the ocean." Their excitement grew as they polished their manuscript and illustrations. They sent it off to their publisher with high hopes. A few weeks later, they received the news they had been waiting for. Ocean Quest, the secret of the Coral Kingdom, was going to be published. The book launch was even bigger than their first. The community rallied around them, proud of the young authors who were making a positive impact. The local aquarium even hosted the launch event, setting up a special reading area near the coral reef exhibit. Emma, Max, and Jake read excerpts from their book, and the audience was captivated by their story and the important message it conveyed. After the reading, the aquarium director approached them with a proposal. "We'd love to feature your book in our gift shop and collaborate on educational programs for kids. Your story can inspire a whole new generation to care about the ocean." Emma, Max, and Jake were thrilled. "That would be amazing. We'd love to help," Max said enthusiastically. As the event came to a close, they looked around at the smiling faces and felt a deep sense of accomplishment. They had not only created another fantastic story, but also found a way to use their talents to make a difference. Over the next few months, they worked with the aquarium to develop interactive workshops and storytime sessions. They taught children about marine life, read from their book, and encouraged them to create their own ocean-themed stories and drawings. The workshops were a huge success, and the friends felt fulfilled seeing the impact of their work. One evening, as they were packing up after a workshop, Emma turned to her friends. "I can't believe how far we've come. From being just 3 kids with a dream to authors, making a difference in the world." Max smiled. "And we're just getting started. Who knows what adventures we'll write next?" Jake grinned. "Whatever it is, it's going to be epic, and we'll do it together." The friends walked out of the aquarium, the setting sun casting a golden glow over the water. They knew that their journey was far from over, and with their creativity, friendship, and passion for storytelling, the possibilities were endless. As they continued their journey as young authors, Emma, Max, and Jake's bond grew stronger. They began brainstorming their next big project. Inspired by their experiences, they decided to create a story that combined elements from both their previous books, featuring characters from the animal kingdom and the underwater world coming together for a grand adventure. One day, while working on their new project, they received an unexpected email. It was from a well-known children's literature festival in the city, inviting them to be guest speakers. The festival organizers had heard about their books and wanted them to share their journey with a wider audience. Emma's eyes widened as she read the email aloud. "They want us to speak at the festival. This is huge." Max and Jake were equally excited. This is our chance to inspire even more kids, Max exclaimed. Jake nodded. And maybe we can meet other authors and learn from them too. The friends spent the next few weeks preparing for the festival. They practiced their speeches, created a presentation about their creative process, and even prepared some fun activities for the kids attending the festival. The day of the festival finally arrived, and they traveled to the city with their families. The festival was bustling with excitement. There were colorful booths, workshops, and performances everywhere. Emma, Max, and Jake were awestruck by the sheer scale of the event. They were scheduled to speak in the afternoon, so they spent the morning exploring and soaking in the vibrant atmosphere. When it was time for their presentation, they took the stage nervously, but excitedly. The room was filled with children, parents, and fellow authors. Emma began by sharing their story, from the first art contest to their latest book. Max talked about their creative process, and Jake added humor with anecdotes from their brainstorming sessions. As they spoke, they could see the audience's eyes light up with inspiration. When they finished, the room erupted in applause. They answered questions from the audience, many of whom were young aspiring writers and artists. After their presentation, a group of children approached them. One little boy, clutching a sketchbook, looked up at Emma with wide eyes. "I love drawing, but I get scared to show my art to others. How did you become brave enough?" Emma knelt down to his level and smiled. "I used to be scared too, but I learned that sharing your art can bring joy to others. Start by showing it to someone you trust, like a friend or family member. Believe in yourself, and remember, every artist starts somewhere." The boy nodded, looking determined. "I'll try." The rest of the festival was a whirlwind of activities and meetings with other authors. They met Mrs. Green again, who was delighted with their progress, and introduced them to other writers and illustrators. They exchanged ideas, learned new techniques, and made new friends in the literary world. By the end of the day, they were exhausted but exhilarated. As they headed back to their hotel, they reflected on the amazing experience. "This festival has been incredible," Max said. "I feel so inspired by everyone we met." "Me too," Emma agreed. "And it was great to see how our stories can inspire others." Jake grinned. "Just think of all the new ideas we'll have for our next book." They spent the next few days exploring the city, visiting museums, parks, and bookstores. They drew inspiration from everything they saw, filling their notebooks with sketches and ideas. When they returned home, they were more motivated than ever to work on their new story. Their new project, The Great Land and Sea Adventure, combined characters from the forest and the ocean in an epic quest to save their worlds from a mysterious threat. They poured their hearts into the story, creating rich, detailed illustrations and exciting, heartfelt narratives. As they worked, they realized how much they had grown as storytellers and as friends. They faced challenges together, supported each other, and celebrated their successes. Their journey had taught them that with creativity, teamwork, and perseverance, they could achieve anything they set their minds to. One afternoon, as they were putting the finishing touches on their new book, Emma looked at her friends and smiled. "We've come so far together. I can't wait to see where our stories will take us next." Max and Jake nodded, their eyes shining with excitement, to new adventures. Max said, raising his pencil like a toast. "And to the best team ever," Jake added. They laughed and continued working, knowing that their next adventure was just around the corner. As The Great Land and Sea Adventure neared completion, the friends were filled with anticipation. They had created a tale where forest creatures and sea animals united to overcome a powerful force threatening their worlds. The characters were vibrant, the illustrations breathtaking, and the message clear. Unity and friendship could conquer even the greatest challenges. One sunny afternoon, as they sat in Emma's backyard putting the final touches on their illustrations, Emma's mom came outside with a letter. "This just arrived for you three," she said, handing the envelope to Emma. Emma opened it, and her eyes widened in surprise. "It's from a movie studio. They're interested in turning our books into an animated series." Max and Jake gasped. "An animated series? That's incredible." Emma rang on. "They want to meet with us next week to discuss it in detail. They think our stories would make a great show for kids." The trio could hardly contain their excitement. The idea of seeing their characters come to life on screen was beyond their wildest dreams. They spent the next few days preparing for the meeting, gathering all their books, sketches, and ideas to present to the studio executives. On the day of the meeting, they traveled to the studio, nerves and excitement swirling in their stomachs. They were greeted by Ms. Rivera, a friendly producer who had been following their work. "Welcome, Emma, Max, Jake. We're thrilled to have you here," Ms. Rivera said warmly. "We've been very impressed with your books and the positive impact they're having." Emma smiled. "Thank you, Ms. Rivera. We're really excited about this opportunity." They were led into a conference room where they presented their books, shared their creative process, and discussed their vision for the animated series. The executives listened intently, asking questions and offering suggestions. After the presentation, Ms. Rivera said, "We love your work and the messages your stories convey. We believe they would make a wonderful animated series. How would you feel about working with our team to bring your characters to life?" Max grinned. "We'd love that. It's a dream come true." Jake nodded enthusiastically. "Yeah, we can't wait to see Super Squirrel and Marina on TV." The next few months were a whirlwind of activity as they worked with the studio's animators, writers, and directors. They learned about storyboarding, voice acting, and the animation process. They were deeply involved in every step, ensuring that the animated series stayed true to their vision. One day, while they were at the studio, they met Lily, a talented young animator who shared their passion for storytelling. Lily showed them how she brought characters to life with her drawings, and they instantly connected. She became an essential part of their team, adding her unique flair to the animation. As the series took shape, the friends were invited to a special event at the studio, a preview of the first episode. They gathered in a small theater with their families, studio executives, and some of the animators. The lights dimmed, and the screen lit up with the title, The Adventures of Super Squirrel and Marina. The opening scene showed Super Squirrel soaring through the forest, meeting Marina by the edge of the enchanted sea. The animation was stunning, capturing the magic and excitement of their stories. Tears filled Emma's eyes as she watched their characters come alive, voiced by talented actors who brought personality and depth to each role. Max and Jake sat on the edge of their seats, thrilled by every moment. When the episode ended, the room erupted in applause. Ms. Rivera turned to them, beaming. "Congratulations! This is just the beginning of what I'm sure will be a fantastic series." After the preview, they celebrated with their families and the studio team. Emma's mom hugged her tightly. "I'm so proud of you, sweetheart. Look at what you've accomplished." Emma smiled through her tears. "I couldn't have done it without Max and Jake. We've come so far together." Max nodded. "And we'll keep going. There are so many more stories to tell." Jake grinned. "And so many more adventures to have." As the series aired, it became a huge hit. Children everywhere fell in love with the characters and their adventures, just as Emma, Max, and Jake had dreamed. They received letters from fans, drawings of their characters, and messages of appreciation from parents and teachers. Their journey as storytellers had taken them from a simple art project to becoming authors, and now to creating an animated series that touched the hearts of many. They continued to write, illustrate, and dream, knowing that together they could achieve anything. One evening, as they sat in Emma's room surrounded by fan letters and drawings, Emma looked at her friends and smiled. "We did it, guys, and this is just the beginning." Max and Jake nodded, their eyes filled with excitement for the future. "To the next adventure," Max said, raising his hand. "And to the best team ever," Jake added. They high-fived, ready to continue their journey, knowing that the possibilities were endless. With the success of their animated series, Emma, Max, and Jake were more inspired than ever. They continued to balance school with their creative projects, always making time to brainstorm new ideas and write new stories. The letters from fans kept pouring in, motivating them to keep going. One day, they received an invitation to attend an international children's book festival in Paris. It was an incredible honor, and they were thrilled at the opportunity to share their journey with a global audience. Their parents agreed to chaperone them on the trip, and the trio began preparing for their big presentation. In the weeks leading up to the festival, they worked tirelessly, practicing their speech and creating a dynamic presentation. They also made sure to pack plenty of copies of their books and promotional materials for their animated series. The day of their departure arrived, and they boarded the plane with butterflies in their stomachs. The flight was long, but their excitement kept them wide awake. When they finally landed in Paris, they were awestruck by the city's beauty and the bustling energy of the book festival. The festival was held in a grand convention center, filled with authors, illustrators, and book lovers from around the world. The friends marveled at the diverse stories and art on display, drawing inspiration from the vibrant atmosphere. Their presentation was scheduled for the second day of the festival. They spent the first day exploring, attending workshops, and meeting other young authors. They were particularly inspired by a panel discussion with renowned authors who spoke about the importance of storytelling and its impact on young minds. On the morning of their presentation, they were both nervous and excited. They took the stage in a large auditorium, facing an audience of children, parents, and fellow authors. Emma started by sharing their journey, from their first art contest to the creation of their animated series. Max continued, talking about the power of teamwork and how their different strengths complemented each other. Jake wrapped up by discussing their latest book, The Great Land and Sea Adventure, and how it combined their love for nature and storytelling. The audience was captivated, and when they finished, the room erupted in applause. During the Q&A session, they received thoughtful questions from children about their creative process and their favorite characters. They also met aspiring young authors who looked up to them as role models. After the presentation, they were approached by a kind woman named Marie, who introduced herself as the director of a prominent European publishing house. "I was very impressed by your presentation," she said. "Your stories are not only entertaining, but also carry important messages. I would love to discuss the possibility of publishing your books in multiple languages to reach a wider audience." Emma, Max, and Jake were thrilled by the offer. They arranged a meeting with Marie for the following day to discuss the details. That night, they celebrated by exploring Paris, visiting landmarks like the Eiffel Tower and the Louvre. The city's charm and the success of their presentation made it a night to remember. The next day, they met with Marie and her team. The discussions were fruitful, and they agreed to translate and publish their books in several languages, ensuring their stories could reach children all over the world. This was a dream come true, and they couldn't wait to see their books in different languages. As they wrapped up their trip, they received another exciting invitation. This time, it was from a popular educational TV channel that wanted to create a documentary about their journey as young authors and animators. The idea of sharing their story and inspiring others on such a large platform was exhilarating. Back home, they continued to work hard, balancing school with their expanding creative endeavors. The documentary crew followed them for several months, capturing their creative process, their school life, and their interactions with fans. The documentary, titled The Young Storytellers, showcased their journey, their friendship, and their impact on young readers and viewers. When the documentary aired, it was met with widespread acclaim. Emma, Max, and Jake became even more popular, receiving invitations to speak at schools and literary events around the world. They never forgot their roots, always making time to visit their old school and inspire younger students. One day, as they were brainstorming for their next big project, Max suggested something new. "What if we create a series of workshops and online classes to teach kids how to write and illustrate their own stories?" Emma's eyes lit up. "That's a fantastic idea. We can share everything we've learned and help kids everywhere become storytellers." Jake grinned. "And we can use our website to host the classes and share resources." They got to work on this new project, creating a series of fun and engaging workshops that covered everything from brainstorming ideas to drawing illustrations. They partnered with schools, libraries, and community centers to bring their workshops to as many children as possible. As they launched their workshops, the response was overwhelmingly positive. Children from all backgrounds participated, eager to learn from their favorite authors. Emma, Max, and Jake were overjoyed to see the creativity and enthusiasm of their young students. Their journey had taken them from creating a simple storybook to becoming celebrated authors and animators, inspiring children worldwide. As they continued to dream big and work hard, they knew that their adventure was far from over. With their friendship and passion for storytelling, the possibilities were truly endless. With the success of their workshops and online classes, Emma, Max, and Jake found themselves busier than ever. They were teaching, creating new stories, and collaborating with schools around the world. Their website became a hub for young creators, filled with tutorials, challenges, and a space where kids could share their work. One day, as they were going through submissions from their website, they came across a remarkable story written by a young girl named Lily. Her story was about a magical forest where animals and humans lived in harmony, solving problems together through kindness and understanding. The illustrations were vivid and imaginative, and her storytelling was compelling. Emma gasped as she read it. "This is amazing. Lily has so much talent." Max nodded. "We should feature her on our website and maybe even help her publish her story. Jake agreed. Let's reach out to her and see if she's interested. They contacted Lily, who was thrilled to hear from her idols. They arranged a video call to discuss her story and offer their support. During the call, Lily shyly introduced herself. "Hi, I'm Lily. I can't believe I'm talking to you. You've inspired me so much." Emma smiled warmly. "It's wonderful to meet you, Lily. Your story is fantastic, and we think it deserves to be shared with the world." Max added, "We'd love to help you polish it and publish it. Would you be interested?" Lily's eyes widened with excitement. Yes, absolutely. That would be a dream come true. Over the next few months, they worked closely with Lily, providing feedback on her story and illustrations. They helped her understand the publishing process and guided her through each step. The experience was rewarding for all of them, and Lily's confidence grew with their encouragement. When Lily's book, Harmony in the Magical Forest, was finally published, it became an instant hit. Emma, Max, and Jake hosted a special event to celebrate the launch, inviting their young prodigy to share her journey with other aspiring writers and artists. The event was a huge success, filled with joy and inspiration. Their work with Lily sparked a new idea. They decided to create a mentorship program for young creators, offering guidance and support to help them develop their talents. They launched the Young Creators Club, where children could apply to be mentored by Emma, Max, and Jake. The program included personalized feedback, virtual meetings, and opportunities to showcase their work. The Young Creators Club quickly gained popularity. Children from all over the world applied, eager to learn from the young authors who had inspired them. The trio was thrilled to see the incredible talent and creativity of their mentees, and they took pride in helping them grow. One evening, after a particularly inspiring mentoring session, Emma looked at her friends and smiled. "I feel like we're making such a difference. Seeing these kids succeed is the best feeling in the world." Max nodded. "It's amazing to think about how far we've come and how many lives we've touched." Jake grinned. "And we're just getting started. There's so much more we can do." Their next big project was to create an animated short film based on their new book, The Great Land and Sea Adventure. They collaborated with talented animators and voice actors, including some of their mentees, to bring the story to life. The process was challenging, but incredibly rewarding, and the result was a beautiful, heartwarming film that captured the essence of their story. The premiere of the short film was a grand event, held at a local theater. Families, friends, and fans gathered to watch the film, and the atmosphere was electric with excitement. As the lights dimmed and the film began, Emma, Max, and Jake felt a surge of pride and happiness. They had created something truly special, and they were sharing it with the world. The film was a resounding success, receiving rave reviews and touching the hearts of everyone who watched it. It was later distributed to schools and libraries, where it became a beloved resource for teaching children about friendship, teamwork, and the importance of caring for the environment. As they basked in the success of their film, they continued to dream big. They planned to create more books, films, and educational programs, always with the goal of inspiring and empowering young creators. Their journey had been filled with challenges and triumphs, and they knew there were many more adventures ahead. One day, while working on their next story, Emma paused and looked at her friends. "You know, we've achieved so much together. I can't imagine doing any of this without you." Max smiled. "We've built something incredible, and it's because we believed in each other and never gave up." Jake nodded. "And we'll keep going no matter what. Our story is far from over." They high-fived, ready to continue their journey with the same passion and determination that had brought them this far. With their friendship, creativity, and unwavering belief in each other, they knew that the possibilities were truly endless. As they continued their creative journey, Emma, Max, and Jake were constantly inspired by the stories and ideas from the children in their mentorship program. They decided it was time to expand their reach even further. They envisioned a global network where young creators could connect, collaborate, and share their stories with the world. One afternoon, while they were brainstorming in Emma's backyard, Max had a brilliant idea. "What if we create an international storytelling competition for kids? We could invite children from all over the world to submit their stories and illustrations. The winners could get their works published and even turned into short films." Emma's eyes lit up. "That's a fantastic idea, Max. It would give so many kids a chance to shine and share their creativity." Jake grinned. and we could host a big awards ceremony where the winners are announced. It would be an amazing event. They immediately got to work, creating a detailed plan for the competition. They reached out to publishers, animators, and educators to form a panel of judges and gather support. They launched a website for the competition, spreading the word through social media, schools, and libraries. The response was overwhelming. Entries poured in from every corner of the globe, each story unique and full of imagination. As they read through the submissions, they were amazed by the talent and creativity of the young authors and illustrators. It was clear that the competition had struck a chord, inspiring children to share their voices and stories. Selecting the finalists was no easy task, but after careful consideration, they narrowed it down to a diverse group of talented young creators. They invited the finalists to their hometown for the award ceremony, covering all expenses to ensure that every child could attend. The day of the ceremony arrived, and the town was buzzing with excitement. The event was held in the town's community center, which had been transformed into a vibrant celebration of storytelling. Banners and posters of the children's illustrations decorated the walls, and a stage was set up for the awards presentation. Emma, Max, and Jake took the stage, welcomed by applause from the audience. Emma stepped up to the microphone, her voice filled with excitement. "Welcome, everyone. We're so thrilled to have you here to celebrate the amazing talent and creativity of young storytellers from around the world." Max continued, "We've been inspired by each and every story we've read, and we're honored to share these incredible works with you today." Jake added, "And now, without further ado, let's announce our winners." They revealed the winners in various categories, such as Best Story, Best Illustration, and Most Creative Concept. Each winner was invited to the stage to receive their award, a trophy shaped like an open book, and to share a few words about their story. The audience cheered and applauded, celebrating the achievements of these young talents. One of the winners was a shy girl named Aisha from Kenya, who had written a beautiful story about a magical tree that granted wishes. As she stood on stage, she hesitated for a moment before speaking. "Thank you so much. This is a dream come true. I hope my story brings happiness to everyone who reads it." Emma, Max, and Jake beamed with pride. They knew that moments like these were why they started their journey in the first place. They wanted to inspire and uplift young creators, giving them the confidence to share their unique voices with the world. After the ceremony, they hosted a workshop where the winners could collaborate on a special project, a group story that combined their characters and ideas. The room buzzed with excitement as the young authors and illustrators worked together, sharing ideas and drawing inspiration from one another. As the event drew to a close, the children and their families expressed their gratitude to Emma, Max, and Jake. One parent said, "Thank you for creating such a wonderful opportunity for our children. You've given them the chance to believe in themselves and their dreams." Emma smiled, her heart full. "It's our pleasure. We believe that every child has a story to tell, and we're honored to help them share it." With the success of the international competition, they decided to make it an annual event, continually expanding and reaching more young creators. They also started a scholarship program to support children from underprivileged backgrounds, ensuring that everyone had the opportunity to participate. Their efforts did not go unnoticed. They were invited to speak at international conferences, sharing their mission and inspiring others to support young creators. They formed partnerships with educational organizations and media companies, furthering their reach and impact. One day, while reflecting on their journey, Emma said, "We've come so far, and it's all because we believed in our dreams and each other." Max nodded, "And because we've always been willing to help others believe in themselves too." Jake grinned. "Here's to many more stories, adventures, and friendships." Their journey was far from over. With every new project and every young creator they inspired, they continued to spread the magic of storytelling. Together, they knew they could achieve anything, and their story would always be one of friendship, creativity, and endless possibilities. Years passed, and Emma, Max, and Jake watched with pride as the children they had mentored and inspired grew into talented authors, illustrators, and creators. Their annual storytelling competition had become a global phenomenon, attracting participants from every corner of the world and uncovering countless new talents. The Young Creators Club had grown into a thriving community, fostering creativity and collaboration among young people everywhere. One bright summer day, the trio gathered at their favorite spot in Emma's backyard. They were reflecting on their incredible journey and the impact they had made. As they chatted, an idea began to form in their minds. Emma started, "We've achieved so much together, but I think it's time to start a new chapter." Max looked intrigued. "What do you have in mind?" Emma smiled. "What if we create a permanent space where young creators can come to learn, collaborate, and be inspired? A creative academy where they can immerse themselves in storytelling, animation, art, and more." Jake's eyes lit up. "That's a fantastic idea. We could offer classes, workshops, and even residencies for young artists from around the world." Max nodded enthusiastically. "And we could invite guest artists and authors to teach and share their experiences. It would be a place where creativity thrives." With renewed excitement, they set to work on their biggest project yet, the Young Creators Academy. They found the perfect location, a beautiful old mansion with spacious rooms and sprawling gardens, and transformed it into a vibrant hub of creativity. The academy featured state-of-the-art classrooms, studios, a library filled with books and resources, and cozy dormitories for resident students. When the academy opened its doors, it welcomed a diverse group of young creators eager to learn and grow. Emma, Max, and Jake took on the roles of mentors and directors, guiding their students and nurturing their talents. The atmosphere was filled with inspiration and collaboration, and the academy quickly became renowned for its innovative programs and supportive community. One day, as they walked through the academy's gardens, Emma turned to her friends. "Can you believe how far we've come? From that first art contest to this incredible academy, it's been an amazing journey." Max smiled. "And it's all because we believed in ourselves and each other. We took risks, followed our passions, and never gave up." Jake added, "And we've helped so many others believe in themselves too. That's the best part." As the years went by, the Young Creators Academy continued to flourish. Graduates went on to become successful authors, artists, filmmakers, and more, always crediting the academy and its founders for their success. Emma, Max, and Jake's legacy of creativity and friendship lived on through the countless stories and works of art that emerged from their academy.